Coming up on Network Africa, thousands march in South Africa demanding the resignation of President Jacob Zuma. And Somalia militants remain defiant to President Farjamo's declaration of war. And a look at how technology can be used to fight diseases. Hello and welcome to the last edition of the program for the week. I am Bisi Adebayo. We begin today's program in South Africa, where thousands have held protests in various cities demanding the resignation of President Jacob Zuma. Various political and civil society groups staged the multi-city protest, calling on President Zuma once again to step down following a string of scandals and the recent firing of former Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan, among others. However, supporters of the ANC party are also out on the streets, including veterans of the party, which dates back to the anti-apartheid struggle.
And there is no political expression, any form of expressing yourself politically that is futile. It is business unusual in South Africa today, and millions of South Africans are tired of Zuma's leadership. There are marches today in every single city in South Africa where South Africans have gathered to say Zuma must be fired. So it is not business as usual. And I believe that through this march, the ANC will see that South Africans are tired of Jacob Zuma.
Meanwhile, South Africa's credit rating has been cut to junk status by ratings agency Fitch. This follows a similar move by S&P Global on Monday, which means that the country has now been downgraded by 2 of the 3 major ratings agencies. Due to this, many international investment funds, under their own rules, will be unable to lend to the South African government by buying its bonds, which are glorified IOUs. Fitch cited the recent political instability prompted by cabinet reshuffle for the decision. Now let's get more on this story and the anti-Zuma protest from our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, who joins us live from Johannesburg. Thanks for joining us, Betty.
Thank you.
So what more can you tell us about the protest in South Africa?
Well, you said it all. As you heard the spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance, Phumzile Van Dam, the central message is for President Jacob Zuma to leave office. But we know that the Constitution has its own way that he can leave office, that vote in Parliament, or if the President resigns. But today, you have the opposition parties, civil society groups, individuals, even members of the party on their own individual capacity who line the streets. Many of them took their protests again to the Union Buildings, which is the seat of power, asking for the president to come down, of course, to leave office. We've had last-minute pullouts from the protests, like the groups, the trade union groups, COSATU, that asked the members not to be part of the protest. But it was a huge protest in major cities in the country today.
Now, how is the president reacting to these protests, and what's he doing to calm those who are aggrieved with last week's cabinet reshuffle?
Well, as he gave his reason that he did that we know that his relationship with the former finance minister had been breaking down all along, so we didn't expect him to be in office for much longer. But he gave reasons as bringing younger people as well as more women. Of course, many people didn't buy that because there's some of the ministers people have been calling for their heads who are still in parliament, although they're women. So a lot of people, when asked about the protest, he said people have a right to protest. They're exercising their rights and nobody will stop them. But that's about, he's quite a resilient person. That's about what he's done about it, allowing them to do what they want to do, expressing themselves. But at Luchuli House, I know that the DA was supposed to go there, but that didn't happen because you had protection front by the Mkhonto Wesizwe, that's the militant arm of the ANC, surrounding the building, preventing anybody from going there. But the streets of Johannesburg today, Pretoria, and I think Cape Town as well, some other cities were lined with people protesting.
Now, apart from the protest, now we know that the Parliament is expected to hold a no-confidence vote later this month on President Zuma. What are we likely to expect from that motion?
I will expect a lot of Zuma bashing, that is a given, and there will be a lot of frustration because of the numbers needed by the opposition. If they all vote, the numbers needed, they need about 70 plus. We know 3 of the ministers who were fired, not having gotten now. His deputy has resigned from Parliament. 2 other ministers too who were fired have resigned from Parliament. But the opposition is hoping that no member of the ANC will abstain, that they will vote against the president. And it's still a secret vote, so that way you can hold people out. Although the opposition is saying we hope that it will be open. But that is not going to happen, according to the chairperson of the party, who is also the Speaker of Parliament. We know, I doubt if they'll get the numbers, but, you know, anything can happen. It's a question of, we've been here before. It's going to be frustrating for the opposition parties as well, especially if the president scales through. But the ANC is also going to be careful, because you don't lose 2 presidents back to back. That still doesn't augur well for the party in the upcoming elections. If the last president was recalled, that's the Thabo Mbeki, and then this one is removed from office. That's another thing they're struggling with balancing, you know, in this upcoming vote. But the president seems quite calm in the face of it all.
Well, finally, Betty, let's look at the latest coming from Fitch Ratings, downgrading South Africa's credit ratings to junk status. How is the new finance minister reacting to this, especially coming from the other news we heard on Monday?
Well, he hasn't said too much. I know that he's been holding a series of meetings right from the day he was pronounced the new finance minister. I know that at the weekend, during his press conference, he more or less asked to be given a chance to work. And he says he's not changing anything. There will be continuity. The things that are being done right will continue. But yesterday, I think, or today, he's been meeting with the banks as well as the business leaders, just to keep the economy afloat, or to keep the economy going and continue from where his predecessor left off. But he isn't saying too much at this point. He said he expected the S&P's rating, but he hasn't quite commented on the Fitch rating that's just pronounced.
The Channels TV South Africa Bureau Chief Betty Dibia, thanks for joining us, and of course, have a great weekend.